Welcome to this special recording on nutrition for equine breeding. I'm Dr. Sophie Parker Norman, a feed additive specialist and consultant in the feed industry through my business Big Sky Technical. Today we are going to look at the fascinating and evolving science of preparing mares and stallions for breeding success. We'll be exploring three key elements: epigenetics, inflammation management, and how nutrition and stress influence the health and success of each generation of foals. Whether you're in racing, competitive eventing, pedigree breeding, or simply passionate about horses and want to have breeding success, these insights could help you build stronger, healthier foals for tomorrow. Let's start with epigenetics. The understanding of epigenetics is one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century. It sits alongside Darwin's natural selection and Rosalind Franklin's discovery of DNA double helix structure in terms of its impact. It's really huge, and I'm about to try and explain it on a short podcast. So here goes, buckle up, fasten your seatbelts, get your feet in the stirrups. Let's do this. Every single cell in a horse's body contains a full copy of its DNA code, all the genes for all of the traits and functionality that the horse needs. But these genes are not always switched on. A cell in the liver of a horse has to function as a liver cell, whereas a cell in the brain has to function as a brain cell. So cells can turn their genes on or off, in this case for liver function or for brain function. The same is true for the immune system, for example. If the horse has a traumatic injury to the leg, let's say you're on a green horse, or it's not a green horse, but you make a rider error, and your horse hits its leg on a fence as you make a jump. Let's say the impact is quite substantial. There'll be an inflammatory response on the leg of the horse. It will have some swelling. This is because the cells in the area of impact in the leg will have switched on their genes for the immune system, switched them on more strongly, causing that inflammatory response. So genes can be switched on and off depending on when they are needed. Let's take a breath. I want to try and explain this so it's really understandable. You can think of epigenetics like a DJ remixing a song. The underlying melody, or the DNA, remains the same, but with different effects and highlights, which means that that song takes on a whole new feel. You get a different version of the song. In breeding, this remix is a way of influencing how genes express themselves, turning certain traits up or down. And the interesting discovery about epigenetics is these patterns of how the genes are switched on or off can be inherited by the next generation. So how do we influence this? Epigenetics lets us tune into this genetic playlist by managing factors like diet, environment, and stress, making sure that we're not getting negative impacts on gene expression patterns. This can ultimately lead to better foal health, performance, and temperament. Knowledge of epigenetics is potentially game-changing. It's a potential game-changing approach for breeders especially, opening new doors to the best possible outcomes in breeding. It's not just about DNA. This means that there's a best approach to feeding and managing both stallions and mares before, during, and after breeding. Let's talk a moment about fertility. Inflammation is one of the biggest barriers to fertility, affecting both mares and stallions. I started out life as an animal scientist and specialised in the immune system, and it is truly fascinating to me to see how the immune system plays a role in so many aspects of animal management and how we can influence it through nutrition. Inflammation is a bit like having too much background noise. It can interfere with reproductive function, impacting cellular health, hormone levels, and even sperm quality in stallions. Chronic inflammation can disrupt everything from fertility to immunity, making it harder to achieve conception. But now, as nutritionists, we think about more than just supplying nutritional requirements of an animal. Across different species that we work with, we now think about how nutrition can support the immune system. And that's where omega 3s, particularly EPA and DHA from fish oils, come into play. Omega 3s are powerful anti inflammatories. They are like a calming balm on the body's systems, helping reduce that background noise of inflammation so that reproductive health can shine through. These fish oils also support cell structure and function, and in stallions, they can even improve sperm quality. They have to be fed at the right dose, though, and they're pretty expensive ingredients, but they are proven in practice to really help improve fertility. They help mares and stallions achieve optimal fertility, conception, and healthy, successful pregnancies. Now, let's talk stress, something we all know about. We all know stress affects health, but in horses it can be particularly disruptive to reproduction. Horses have a sensitive gut-brain axis, meaning the gut and the nervous system are closely connected. Anyone with a thoroughbred chestnut mare can attest to this being true. When the gut is under stress, it's like static on a radio. It interferes with everything, making it harder for the horse to stay calm and balanced. This stress, in turn, can negatively affect fertility and overall health. A healthy digestive system is essential for keeping stress at bay, and we can support it with nutrition using products such as yeast products, phytogenics, and buffers. Yeast products help cultivate the good bacteria in the gut, creating a balanced microbiome that aids digestion, nutrient absorption, and immunity. Think of these bacteria as a well trained team working behind the scenes to keep the gut operating smoothly and efficiently. Including a buffer helps maintain a stable stomach pH and reduces the chance of stomach ulcers, which cause discomfort and they're well known for causing behavioural issues. By supporting the gut, we're not just aiding digestion, we're helping horses manage stress on a fundamental level. Phytogenics, or plant-based compounds, also play a role here. Known for their soothing properties, compounds from plants help ease digestive stress and support a balanced gut. Phytogenics are like nature's herbal supplements for horses, helping them remain calm and comfortable, which is essential during breeding. So how does all this come together in breeding? Through the lens of epigenetics, we can use these nutritional tools, fish oil-derived omega-3s, yeast products, buffers and phytogenics to set the stage for the next generation of foals. All of these reduce stress, help manage the gut well and reduce inflammation, and less stress equals better gene expression patterns passed on to the foal. But there's one more piece in the epigenetic puzzle, methyl donors. These nutrients, such as choline, aid in the process of DNA methylation, where genes are tagged to influence how they are expressed. Methyl donors help ensure that the right genes are turned on or turned off as needed, supporting traits like growth, immunity, and temperament. Adding methyl donors to the diet is a way of fine-tuning the genetic playlist for the foal's development. It's as if we're pre-setting certain genes to provide an optimal foundation even before conception. By focusing on this process, we're helping to shape the healthiest, most resilient foals possible with the best genetic expression for their future as athletes, show animals, or as the best happy hacking friend. Breeding is more than just conception. It's about preparing a new life, setting up the foal with the best possible genetic expression, health and well-being from day one. By managing things like inflammation, supporting the gut health as best as possible, reducing stress, and using methyl donors, breeders can fine-tune their horse's genetic expression and ultimately improve the outcome for each generation. This isn't just feeding supplements. It's an opportunity to do more with nutrition than just meet nutritional requirements, using science to prepare mares and stallions for breeding success. Thanks very much for tuning in to this deep dive into the science and nutrition of equine breeding. If there's one sector that can really bring this amazing science to life, it's the equine sector. I hope this discussion has inspired some fresh ideas on how we can help shape the future of equine breeding to prepare today for tomorrow's champions.